In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the root of any complex number. So suppose we wanted to find the cube root of this number, -4 plus 4 root 3i. And when I say the cube root, I mean the cube roots. There are going to be 3. Now, the best way to do this is to get this in exponential form. So to do that, we need the modulus and we need the argument. So the modulus of this number, I'm going to take the square root of -4 squared plus 4 root 3 squared, and that's 8. So the modulus is 8. How about the argument? Well, a little sketch down here on an argand diagram will help. So it's -4 plus 4 root 3i. So the argument is going to be this angle there. I'm going to find this one. So what have we got? We've got 4 here and 4 root 3 there. So inverse tan of 4 root 3 over 4, that's inverse tan of root 3, and that's pi over 3. So that's pi over 3, which means this is 2 pi over 3. And so there's the argument. So this complex number here is 8e to the 2 pi I over 3. Okay, well, obviously I can find the cube root of that, and we can actually do that now and find our first answer. The cube root of, and by the way, I just want the real cube root of 8 for this because it's a modulus. So we get 2 there, and then the cube root of this, all I need to do is divide that, that argument by 3. That will find the cube root of that number. It's basically applying a power of a third to that indice. So that's 2 pi I over 9. Where are the others? Well, are there any complex numbers which are the same as this? Well, there are. If you take this complex number here and then you loop all the way around, adding 2 pi to the argument, you get back to where you started. So if I add 2 pi to the argument there, what do I get? I get 8e, and then 2/3 plus 2 pi is 8 pi I over 3. And if I add 2 pi again, I get 8e to the 14 pi I over 3. All of these numbers are the same as -4 plus 4 root 3i. But when I cube root them, I get a different answer. Cube rooting this, I still get a modulus of 2, but now I get an argument of 8 pi over 9. And then this one here, modulus of 2, and then here it's 14 pi I over 9. And no more, because if I went to the next one and then cube rooted, I'd just get the same as what I have here. And so here are my 3 complex roots of this number here. Now, what can we say about those? Obviously, we could split that up into modulus argument form and get decimals, and I'm not going to do that now. Generally, in an exam, they'll be very clear about what form they want it in. They might say leaving your answer in exponential form or leaving your answers in the form a plus bi. If they do that, well, then we're splitting these up. I'll just do the first one just to show you. It'd be 2, and it'd be cos 2 pi over 9 plus I sine 2 pi over 9. If we do that, what do we get? Well, it's going to be basically messy decimals. So we end up with 1.53, and then when we do the same thing for sine, it's plus 1.29i. So that's the first one, and the other 2 are going to be decimals as well. What I really want to show you is something that relates to this roots of unity being a geometric sequence. These are clearly not quite as simple as that. It's not just 1 omega and omega squared. But look what happens if I factorize out 2e to the 2 pi I over 9. If I factorize out 2e to the 2 pi I over 9, from the first one, I obviously just get 1. No big deal there. If I factorize out 2e to the 2 pi I over 9 from the second one, what's left? Well, all we need to do is look at how much bigger this power is than this, and it's 6 pi I over 9 bigger, which is 2 pi I over 3. So that's e to the 2 pi I over 3. And then if we do that to the last one, pull out a factor of 2e to the 2 pi I over 9. What's left? Well, if I take 2 from this, it's 12. So 12 over 9, that's 4/3. So that's e to the 4 pi I over 3. Well, hold on a second. Do we recognise 1 e to the 2 pi I over 3 and e to the 4 pi I over 3? Those were our cube roots of 1. Go back here and look. These were our complex cube roots of 1. So the complex cube roots of this other complex number were just a multiple times these. So what we can say is, if we call this number here, this first one here, if we call that Z1, and we call this bit here omega, what do we actually have? We have that our solutions are Z1 times 1, Z1 times omega, and Z1 times omega squared. And this will always be the case. What does this tell you? It tells you that in order to find a root, an nth root of a complex number, all you need to do is find the root, or the first root of it, and then take that as a kind of stem, multiply it by 1, multiply it by omega squared, and keep going until you have as many roots you need, where your omegas are your roots of unity. So you don't need to spend too long fussing about at this stage, and I'll show you this on the next question. You just find your first one and multiply it up by our roots of unity. There's one nice other application or implication of this, which is, what do we get when we add these up? Well, if you add up Z1 plus Z1 times omega plus Z1 times omega squared, and you factorize out Z1, you get 1 plus omega squared, and we know what the sum of the roots of unity are. It's 0. So this is 0 as well. And effectively what's going on is, if you take the cube roots of a complex number, the three numbers you get are still just an equilateral triangle centered at the origin, and so their average position is 0, and therefore their sum is 0. Okay, let's try this in this case. So z to the 4 equals minus 2 root 2 plus 2 root 2 I. So we need this in exponential form to do what we're going to do. So the modulus of this number is 4. And what's the argument? Well, the argument, if I just sketch out this, minus 2 root 2 plus and then 2 root 2 I. Well, since these are the same, I know this one is pi by 4, which means this is 3 pi by 4. So it's e to the 3 pi I over 4. Okay, now I'll find my first root as the kind of stem, which I'll use to find the others. So Z1, the stem of this, well, the fourth root of 4 is root 2. And then all I need to do is divide this power by 4, and so that's 3 pi I over 16. So what do I need to do? I need to know what the fourth roots of 1 are, and that's a much easier problem to solve. In this case, maybe you could just figure it out in your head, but if you don't know, all we need to do is find what fourth roots of 1 are. So if I'm solving z to the 4 equals 1, which is e to the 0, e to the 2 pi I, and you know what, I don't even need to bother from there, I'll show you why. We get z equals 1, and if I divide this by 4, I get e to the 2 pi I over 4, which is pi I over 2. So look, there's my 1 and there's my omega. What is e to the pi over 2i? That's just I. So what I've got is I've got my omega. There's my omega, it's my first one, and it's just I. So what does this mean for my fourth roots of the number? Well, remember, the roots of my number are basically this stem multiplied by 1, omega, omega squared, and omega cubed. And there's omega, which turns out to be I, but it's probably more useful to leave it in its exponential form there. So the first root, z1, is root 2 e to the 3 pi I over 16. The next one is my stem, z1, multiplied by omega, and omega is e to the pi I over 2. Then it's my stem, root 2 e to the 3 pi I over 16, multiplied by omega squared. You square omega and you get e to the pi I. Then finally it's the stem, root 2 e to the 3 pi I over 16, multiplied by omega cubed, which is 3 pi I over 2. And all we need to do now is just simplify this. So this first one can stay as it is. The second one, I'm simply adding these powers, giving me root 2 e to the 11 pi I over 16. Adding the powers of the next one, I get root 2 e to the 19 pi I over 16. And the last one, root 2 e to the 27 pi I over 16. And so there are our 4 roots of this number. And as a recap, we basically found it by finding the first root, z1, and then multiplying that by 1, omega, omega squared, and omega cubed. As for what form you leave it in, it depends on what you're asked in the question, but exponential form is fine if it's not specified. Modulus argument form, fine. A plus bi form, also fine. So here's a messy one to try yourself. Z to the 5 equals 5 minus 12i. So let's go for it. We're going to want this in exponential form. So I need the modulus of this, which is 13. And then I'm going to need the argument. Now this one is about as messy as it gets because you don't get a pretty argument here. So 5 minus 12i. Let's see, 5 minus 12i is kind of here, which means our argument, which you could express either as negative or positive, I'm going to go with negative here, is going to be inverse tan of 12 over 5, and that's 1.18. So that is e to the power of minus 1.18i. Okay, so that's the number. I can use that to find the z1. Right, z1 is just going to be the fifth root of this. So what is that? Well, I told you it's ugly. It's the fifth root of 13. And then we're going to be dividing that argument by 5. So that is e to the minus 0.235i. There's our stem. All we need to do is multiply that by 1, omega, omega squared, omega cubed, omega to the 4, where omega is the fifth root of 1. So our omega here is the solution of omega to the 5 equals 1, except that's just going to give us 1. But if we take 1 to be e to the 2 pi I, then our omega is e to the 2 pi I over 5. So all we need to do now is take this stem, multiply it by 1, then multiply it by omega, then multiply it by omega squared, and so on. Now, a really lazy way of writing this out would be something like this, where I've sort of factorized it out of my list. So there's my z1, and there's 1 omega, omega squared, omega cubed, omega to the 4. And just to show you what one of these could look like if we wanted to write it in a plus bi form, well, the first one, let's just do this one times that, just to see what that would be like. So if we call the first one z1, which we already know, it's up here, but let's just work out z2. I'm not going to do all of them to waste your time, but just to show you how we would do this, z2, that's this one times this one, is the fifth root of 13. And then what is it? It's e to the power of this times e to the power of this. So I'm taking that minus 0.235 and I'm adding 4 pi over 5. When I do that, I get 2.278. So that's e to the 2.278i. So if I wanted to split this up into the real part and the imaginary part, we've got cos of 2.278 plus I sine 2.278. In total, we end up with minus 1.09 plus 1.27i. And so that is one of the fifth roots of this number here. To find the next one, you're simply multiplying this by this one and then figuring it out. Now, a question is unlikely to give you just find the fifth root of this massive number and give it in a very ugly form, but more likely it'll be either nice numbers or just find one of the roots or something like that, because it can get very messy and very long, lots of decimals. Anyway, that's how we do it. Nth roots of complex numbers.